Hi everyone and welcome to the College Talk Series podcast. My name is Jongwin, a current undergrad at Harvard where I am studying psychology and educational study, and I will be your host for this series. The goal of this podcast is to share helpful college admission strategies, anything from building college lists, writing personal statements, to preparing for your college interview, and many more. And now with that, let's get started. Hello and welcome to the first episode of the College Talk Series podcast. In this episode, we will be talking about the 5 things that you should be focusing on throughout your high school career, from freshman year to senior year. Summer is also included. At the beginning of each episode, I will be giving you a rundown of what to expect in the episode. They will be in the order that I will be talking about them, so feel free to skip to any part of the episode that is more relevant to you, or you can listen to the whole thing if you want to. The 5 things that I think you should be focusing on in your high school career are your academic and grade, building a good relationship with your teachers, explore and commit to extracurricular activities, finding outside learning opportunities, and finally, start thinking about college. Just a disclaimer, none of the things I mentioned can by itself alone help you become a competitive applicant for college. It means that you need to find a good balance of the 5 things, and depending on where you are right now, to focusing on what you need to work on, and because all of the components for your application will together affect your chance of getting in. I will also be sharing some personal anecdote from my own life and experiences and what had worked for me in the past. However, just know that what worked for me might not technically work for everyone, but I hope that with the general resources and strategy that I included will be good enough so that you all can take at least something away from today that can help you. Well, actually, before I begin, I hope that no matter where you are listening to me right now, that you and your family are doing well during this time. For me personally, things are not really great in Houston, but I hope that it will get better soon. So now let's talk about each of the 5 things that I mentioned before more in depth to see that what you need to do to ensure that you are prepared to put your best foot forward for this entire stressful college admission process. It might sound obvious, but the first thing is actually your grade and academic in school. Just want to clear things out, I am talking about your transcript and the grades that you get in high school and not about standardized testing, such as the SAT or the ACT. I would probably have to dedicate an entire episode to just talk about standardized testing later. Although I personally feel like standardized testing is not really a major component for the college application, as many schools are becoming test optional, especially during this pandemic, which really show how standardized tests don't really measure a student's potential to be successful later, but rather is only assess how well they can take a test. Hence, your grades in high school and your GPA is probably way more important in that aspect comparing to SAT or ACT. Another quick note, GPA and grade is actually not everything, since the college admission process is holistic, which means they look at everything. So grades and GPA is important, but they are not everything. So what you can do is that first take a lot of challenging classes such as pre-AP, pre-IB, or AP and IB classes that offer at your high school to show college that first you can handle the college level classes and is willing to challenge yourself to grow more and learn more. Secondly, it's also show that you know how to take advantage of the resources available to you in high school, and colleges love to see this because they also have tons of resources that they want students to use when they get into their school. However, if your school do not offer any advanced classes, that is okay. Do not feel like you are having a disadvantage or against other students. Colleges will know about your school profile and what is available for you, so you don't have to worry about that at all. The point here is just to take advantage of what is available to you. However, you should not just focusing on taking only hard or advanced classes to impress college. You should also think about your passion and what do you want to learn more about. if you are fortunate to have a lot of choices in your high school, make sure to take classes that you really care about. This will help you handle the stress of high school because taking classes about things you love is much more enjoyable even if it's a hard class comparing to like taking something that you do not care about at all. I cannot imagine myself taking AP or IB economic at all, even if that class can help boost my GPA by a lot. So yes, just take what you love. Do not take a class just because your friends are taking it or just because it's an advanced class. Finally, I know that some of you might be in a similar situation as I was when there are not lots of options to choose from. When I was a junior in high school, my school became an IB school. Therefore, since it was their first year, they did not really offer that many IB classes to choose from, so I did not have a lot of choices. For example, I really like psychology, but there was no IB psychology my year. But know that this is okay if this happened to you, because when you get into college, you will have so many other options and thousands of courses to choose from. And yeah, I am going to be majoring in psychology, so high school did not really affect me that much. Therefore, I would say to not worry too much about your limitation in high school, because you will have so many more chance to explore your passion in college. Lastly, there could actually be some good thing that can come out from having a limited choice in high school. I know that I would have never picked to take IB history if I were given more choices, but because I had no choice but to take history, I realized it was not that bad. And the fact that it was actually one of my favorite class in high school, and I ended up doing very well on the IB exam for history as well, which really amazed me. I'm really glad that I took history, or more like forced to took history, but I just learned so much more and appreciate history much more than I was before. So you might never know what will happen to you. So just focusing on what is available to you and make the best out of it. So if you are wondering what would bad grades affect your chance of admissions, I probably will have to plan for a future episode where I can go more in depth about that topic, so just stay tuned for that. The second focus is to make sure to form a very good relationship with your teachers, not just teachers who taught you in class physically, but these could also include your counselor, coaches, advisors, or any trusted adult who are working with you in your high school. I am not telling you to become a teacher pet. That is not it. No. But what you can do is to make sure to do your work on time, communicate with your teachers, and whenever you need extensions or need help, just let them know. Teachers are also human, and I know that many of them would really want to get to know you better and also support you on your journey and on your goal. This will also be super beneficial for when you have to ask them for a letter of recommendation for college. Remember, usually you will need at least 2 letters of recommendation from your core subjects, and sometimes you even need an additional one from your counselor. But these requirements are going to be a bit different from school to school and also depend on your intended major. I think that most of these relationships with teacher will naturally come very easy and naturally for the subject that you are passionate about or that you are good at. For me personally, I think I connected really well with my IB biology teacher in both junior year and senior year. So we had the same teacher for both years due to the IB program. And I think it was mostly because in high school, bio was my strongest and also favorite subject. My advice for you would be responsible in the classroom and participate. I think the teacher really love whenever students speak up in class and contribute to the classroom discussions. As I am right now also teaching and studying educational study in college, I kind of now understand better this kind of view that my past teachers in high school have, and it's always make me so happy whenever my students answer my questions, or even whenever there are attempting to answer my question, and even when they get it wrong, I still feel really happy because they are trying. Yes, so my advice would be try in the classroom. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and show that you are willing to fail in order to learn, because that is a good thing rather than being passive and quiet in the classroom. And finally, talk and communicate with your teachers really well. Whenever something come up, these things could really help teacher know more about you, not just as a student, but also as someone who has a dreams and goal outside of high school. And I think that this will not only help you secure a very good letter of recommendation, but also it makes school less stressful and more fun. See teachers as more like experienced adult or even adult friend, and not just some authority figure with more power and knowledge trying to like teach you about life and stuff. Know that teachers are always there to help you, and they want to know you and support you as well. Okay, now let's move a little bit far away from academic, and let's talk about things outside of the classrooms. Next, you should focusing on exploring at first and then commit to an extracurricular activities or multiple extracurricular activities that you enjoy and really speak to you. Freshman and sophomore year is really a great time to try out different extracurricular activities or clubs to see which one is like most interesting to you. Once you decide what you like, dedicate more time to like fewer activities in order to become deeply involved. If you already know coming into high school what you want to do already, then that is really great and will save you some time from like exploring. But just know that it's never hurt to just try out new things and see for yourself if you like it or not, and then you can always quit if you don't like it at the end. Joining or even starting an organization or club early on is very beneficial because it gives you a lot of time to learn and improve yourself. Don't ever be discouraged to just join as a member. I think that being a member is just as important as being a student leader because often students usually start off as a member and then later on they develop to become officer later on, and that is okay if you start small and then grow big later. If anything, it show a lot of growth to the admission officer. If you are able to and have some passion for something really big, then don't be afraid to start a club. Don't feel the pressure that it is too big or like the idea is just too big and it's not gonna work out, but instead look at it as a way to explore and to show your passion. And it's also really great to create that community and opportunity to meet other people who really care about the same things as you. Even if it's just like a very small group, I think it will still be very meaningful. For me, personally, I started an anime club the summer of my freshman year going to sophomore year. And just FYI, I was an introvert. I am still an introvert now. And I think that back in the day, no one would really thought of me of having the potential or the ability to start a club myself. Now that I look back, I did, and I consider it to still be a very big risk that I took. I am still very impressed of myself back in the day to be able to take that risk. I also just want to emphasize right now that this is okay and this is very good to take risks because you just don't know what's going to happen unless you try. My biggest worries back in the day was that I didn't know if anyone was even going to join my club, and also because whenever I talk to others or even speak up in class, I get really nervous and my Vietnamese accent often came out very strong, like even stronger than it is right now. And then whenever that happens, it makes me feel super self-conscious and it makes me even more nervous, and then hence it keep increasing my Vietnamese accent, and then that just keep on continuing, make it worse. So my point here is that it is not easy to start a club. I mean, for some students, it might come more natural. So if you're more like an extrovert, it may be easier for you. But I also acknowledge that for other students like introvert like me, for example, it is much harder. But I also want to say that starting the anime club was probably the best decision that I made during my high school career. It just made high school much more enjoyable. I was able to form a lot of new friendship and getting close to a lot of my friends and creating a lot of memory with them. And I also even grow a lot. I think I grew a lot as a leader, and my public speaking skill probably got a bit better from like leading meetings and stuff like that. And I can just keep on going on and talk about the club, but I will save some of that detail for later episode where I will focusing more on extracurricular activities, I guess. I don't want to take away too much time from this week. The main takeaway is that when you start a club or doing something that you're truly passionate about, it would eventually be easy. It would not be as hard as you imagine it to be. And you will feel so passionate and comfortable talking to others about topics, and you will feel like you have so much support from other people similar to you that will allow you to grow so much as a leader and as a student. I was crazy about Japanese culture and anime, but that's just me. Whatever you love, whatever topic or issue that is important to you, pursue that and turn that into something in high school. And ultimately, your extracurricular activity will help you a lot for you to learn more about yourself, and will help you in also writing essays for college later on at the same time. It will also show college that who you are as a person and how you are different from other applicants, which is really nice. So the next thing that we need to focus on is finding more outside learning opportunities. But this is mostly just gonna talk about basically how to spend your summer. Even though summer is a great time for you to relax and you technically don't have to worry about schoolwork or grade or anything like that. And I mean, you should really do that. You should spend time with your family and give yourself a break. But I don't think you need the whole 3 months of summer to do that, or just do that. College would really want to see how students spend their summer productively, because it will speak to the school that you do not only do work or like work hard or try to improve yourself just because there is school and the responsibility of being in school. But even without school, you are still be able to enrich yourself and be productive, even if no one is like enforcing you to be like whenever you are in school. So here are some of my personal suggestions of how to be productive in summer, and there are just so many ways, and this really depends on the type of the student and what is the best way for you to spend your summers. So first thing is to get a job or like an internship. So working over summer to gain some extra cash is really nice. It's a good way to save up for college or for you to save up to buy a new laptop or whatever you need. Basically, it's also gonna teach you a lot of great skill in like working and managing your own earning. It's just really nice to be like independent and have like your own income aside from using your parents or depend on your parents. And the second option is to take summer classes at your high school if there are opportunities available for you. So me personally, I took summer physics going to my senior year, so summer my junior year, because I did not want to take a whole semester of physics because that's like a requirement to graduate in Houston or in Texas, I'm not sure. But I did that, so I was able to free up a space in my schedule for my senior year. So I can take other class or I can also fill that in with a study hall period where I can just work on my college applications or just have that time for myself, which is really nice instead of having to take physics for that spot. So think and plan ahead of what you want to do for your summer classes. You can also find ways to volunteer or help out at your local community in different service projects. You can gather your friends or even invite your family to join you to volunteer, probably at like local food bank, hospitals, or any other place in your local area. There's a lot of options out there. And another option is to attend summer camps or like pre-college programs. I know a lot of colleges in the US offer programs specifically for high school students, and usually these programs invite students to come and live on campus to learn more about the school. And programs will usually be different from school to school. You can potentially be able to like earn college credit by taking courses on the campus, or you can also be connected with current college students and be able to learn more about some specific school that you are interested in. And a lot of programs will have financial aid available for low-income students as well, so you don't have to worry about paying for these programs. I actually got a full scholarship to attend the Yale Young Global Scholar program at Yale University, where I stayed there for 2 weeks on campus to study biomedical and biological science during one summer. And it was really eye-changing, eye-opening for me. That program also have other subject sessions available, so make sure to look them up online and do some research for yourself to see if you want to attend those. And there are tons of other opportunities out there, not just Yale, that have these programs. Other great programs to consider are the Questbridge program, which can also connect you to some of the other programs of their college partners. If there is a school that you like, the tip to find this program is just basically go on Google and type up the school name and then pre-college summer program for high school students and click enter, and then you should be able to find them. Finally, find some time in the summer to just read or learn something new that you have always wanted to learn, or start something new. You have plenty of time during the summer to do those. I actually always wanted to learn basic coding. So this summer, I'm trying my best to take a free course on the Harvard Online website to learn computer science. And I'm also trying to take an anatomy and physiology or like health and science class on Khan Academy, which you probably already know, khanacademy.com, to just learn on there and preparing for my class next year. So the main takeaways really is there is no excuse to do nothing for summer. There is always something for you to do, and college would love to see how you decided to spend your summer. Remember, they are looking at you for that. So just beware. Know that none of the things I listed are better than others or more preferred. One is not more preferred than the other, so it just really depends on what you want to do. And however, do not try to do everything. Don't try to overload yourself in summer. Like I said before, please take a break, but also be productive as well. And focusing on what you can do and what you want to do. The only wrong way really to spend the summer is to do nothing. Well, so now we have come down to the fifth focus, the last one for this episode. I just want to say thank you so much if you are still listening at this moment right now. So yes, start thinking about college is the last focus. You don't really have to start right away to know that like you want to think about college in your freshman year, but start just gradually, do more research a little bit by bit, and start thinking about it. The sooner the better. Maybe sophomore year is a good time to start officially take college seriously and plan out different strategies and the school that you're interested in and what you need to do to be able to achieve those goals. Be aware that there are lots of opportunities available for you in your area or high school to join these things that we call community-based organizations that can really help you learn more about college, and they can also offer lots of resources to help you apply to college. For example, Breakthrough or Breakthrough Collaborative is an example of these community-based organizations that have locations like all across the US. They have one in like Boston, like Breakthrough Boston, and they have one in Houston, so like Breakthrough Houston. So check to see if your area or your city have one similar to that. So in Houston specifically, I joined the Emerge program, which is based in Houston only, and they help low-income students apply to top-tier colleges by providing a lot of resources and information about the admission process. And I actually give a lot of credit to them for where I am today. I cannot imagine navigating through everything without their help. So I just want to emphasize the importance of these community-based organizations. However, do not feel discouraged if you did not join any organizations. There are also other great resources online that you can find at, for example, like the Reddit applying to college community, which is really great. Definitely check them out, and we have tons of resources for you. And then there's also QuestBridge, which I mentioned earlier. So if you are qualified, also check out the Matriculate program and then sign up to receive a mentor to help you out if you are qualified. Another place for you to get a mentor is through the College Advising Corp. And there are just so many other opportunities out there. So make sure to do your research and find them. Finally, talk about your college plan and your plan for the future with your counselor or mentor or whoever is helping you on this very stressful journey. Communication is really key, and make sure that they are on the same page with you to be able to best support you on the journey together. Some students might miss this, but communicate with your parents as well. You will need that support, and the journey will be less stressful with them in it. My parents originally was not fond of the idea of me wanting to go out of state, but mainly because they never had the chance to go to college, and they also are not that familiar with the American college admission process. So I actually decided to always talk to them and translate the things that I learned, such as about financial aid or different type of colleges such as research university and liberal art colleges, and pretty much anything that is new to me that I learned from school about college. I go home and I make sure I talk to them and have that discussion with them in Vietnamese. And eventually, we were on the same page, and I am just so glad that I was able to talk with my parents about my plan and allow them to be part of this journey with me. Although they cannot offer any physical help, such as like guidance and like help me filling out papers and stuff like that. But however, they can still offer me a lot of emotional support, which is so much greater. It would have been so hard to leave Houston and go to Boston away from home if my parents did not approve of it. So I am just grateful to have my parents support me, and it's actually was just all thanks to me being able to communicate really clear with my parents so early on. So if you have not been talking to your parents about your college plan, then start now. It is never too late. If you feel like they would never understand you, at least try. Give it a try. I originally also thought that my parent would never get where I'm coming from, and I should just do everything by myself and just not bother my parents and explaining to them because it's not gonna help me in any way or form. However, it turned out it helped a lot to communicate with my parents, and it's also like a process. Things will get better little by little, and you just have to be patient with your parents as well. And if they react badly at first when they heard about your plan or what you want to do and not approve of it, just be clear with them and let them know that this is what you want to do and how much it meant to you and how this is the best thing for you. And I hope that eventually they will soon come to an understanding with you. Well, that's kind of wraps up today's episode. I hope that you like how the first episode for this series turned out, and I really look forward to sharing more with you in the future. On the next episode, we will be talking about the college admission timeline more in details. So I will be breaking down in more details of what you should do or focusing on for each year of high school. So from freshman, sophomore, junior to senior year, and then I'll be more in depth since today were just like general things that pretty much apply to anyone. So if you want to know more about that, look forward to the next episode. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at College Talk Series, where you can get updates on the newest episode and future content so you would never miss a show. If you found some of the content of the podcast useful, we would appreciate a rating on iTunes, or you can just simply tell a friend about the show. That would help us out a lot in reaching a greater audience and supporting more students. We encourage you to send us any questions, suggestions that you have for the show via our social media or via email at collegetalkseries@gmail.com. Finally, thank you for listening. Don't forget to stay awesome and see you in our next episode.